No, it's a week after that.
Oh, it's the week after. Oh,
It's
I
like
don't
the
know.
8th.
That's tough. The week, if it was, I was gonna say if it's the week of, I actually like that. There's like a real chance
Oh,
I could do that. I don't know.
hold
Damn,
on. We're
it's the
just,
week
as I'm
after.
watching this,
Shit.
Gino just threw a Tucker ball. Oh, that was it. What a terrible player.
Trey Tucker.
Anyway. Yeah, yeah,
Oh
yeah. But
man.
I have him for
God
first
damn
to
it.
20. I have him for first to 20. And then Sean Green stole it and capped it. Took my cap, but it's the whole thing. I don't want to talk about it right now. Anyway, you got Dad's Bet Baseball. We took off last week, so it feels kind of great. But we're also going.
We're
We're
rested.
going.
We got a
We're
lot to
rested.
talk about tonight.
We
So
do,
yeah.
and it's a baseball episode, even though we got Monday Night Football on. Baseball episode, Monday Night Football on. Oh my God, CJ, your actual name is on. Wait, did we? Hold on, producer Spencer, just
No,
saying
no, no.
this right now.
So this is because of me because
Okay.
we had to. Which shout out to Steve McAllister from the is it the Canada Gaming Show? What the? I just want to make sure I have
Canada, it's Canada game. Yeah, it's
Canada
we
Gaming
launched on
News.
Canada
The
Gaming
can
News. Yeah.
Okay, the Gaming News Canada show. I just want to make sure I have that correct. You can find this, by the way, at Spotify and other podcasts. We had to come on that show, and I want to make sure Steve didn't have my only name as Slip and Jimmy, so I
Oh,
put my
dude, it's
real
so
name
great.
on there, and I on StreamYard I just left it up. So yeah, there you go, for people. There's
Dude,
my
it's
real
perfect.
name and my alter ego.
Well, it works out really well. So look, first of all, everybody, again, want to thank our sponsors, Hall of Fame Bets. We're going to do our Hall of Fame Bets segment in a second. But we're taking this. We are big fans of Talking Baseball podcast, and they do a free agency draft where everybody goes around. We're going to do like our version of it. We got Pete Sheffield Shuffler coming in, and we got Scott Reichel from SGPN, and basically everything that I make him do with me. It's going to be great. And we are going to anyway, we're gonna do that. But first, we just alluded to this, but we launched
Should we talk
hockey.
some puck?
We're gonna talk a little bit of puck. I'm gonna do
Okay.
this. So for those listening, this isn't useful. For those watching, this is Handigraphs Hockey. If you go into your Handigraphs account, first of all, if you don't have a Handigraphs account, you go in and under annual, use HG Hockey. You have free Handigraphs until January 6th. If you already have a plan, you're going to have it until
Oh,
March.
look at that little banner that we just got up there.
I
Love
look
it.
at this, dude. This is what happened over the last week. This is great.
Wow.
I
I'm
love it.
coming in with my real
So
name. We've got
you,
banners. It's
you
great.
go in and you click the upper left. I almost did this. I'll be honest. You click the upper left, and you get all your goalies. This is our new goalie section. You might look very familiar because it looks a lot like our previous
Yep.
picture section.
Yep.
So same kind of principle. Red is good, blue is bad. We're going to use it, and one of the reasons why we partner with Hall of Fame Bets is because Hall of Fame Bets is one of the deeper analytics platforms, and we find that it works really well with our data visualization. So, for example, tomorrow, well, we can go with tonight because there's a couple games there tonight, but let's see. I'll find something for, it's only 8:30. So there's a 10 o'clock game tonight, Anaheim. All right. Dostal has been awesome.
I was about to say, I feel like that style, like every day, I'm looking at something with Dostal. Because one, he plays all the time, and two, like I think he's kind of underrated.
I think he's massively underrated. His last 120, so he's been, and his last 120 minutes, which spans like 2 games or so. But that over the course of the season, though, you could just see that he's been elite. His saves against expected is higher than it should be, but he's still getting great save percentage and is getting a good number of saves per game. One thing that I look for a lot is when I'm looking at shot props is rebounds and shots on goal against. So this basically is he giving up a lot when he's not. His unblocked save percentage is really high. Like he's been fantastic. Look at him in his last 3 games. You look though, he basically had a bad start in here because you can tell because his last 3 starts he's been pretty good. But another guy who we were pretty big on, Vejmelka, he has been not so great over the last few. He was not great in a couple starts ago. He's just been kind of letting up a lot. So I'm looking at this, and then I'm going to go to Hall of Fame Bets, and I will share this tab. And what I like to hang out on Hall of Fame Bets when I'm dealing with hockey is I like to go on trends. I go over here to trends player. I look at the filter. I go down to which one do we have? Tuesday. There's that. Okay. So one of the things that I'll look at. So I've already identified that I have a goalie that has been. Well, as I'm looking back here, I'm going to share this tab. So last two starts, Vejmelka has been great. Last two starts, Dostal has not been great. They've been switching, but overall, you're kind of just seeing full season metrics that Dostal's been great. And Vejmelka, he's been looks like he's letting up soft goals is kind of what we're seeing here. So I would lean to finding some players on the Ducks against this team. You can tell that you're probably going to want a Duck because this is a higher rebound shots on goal. The high danger chances per game are pretty high. So we want to do that. So we are in the trend section. And what I like to do is I like to do a matchup grade that is around B because I like to tell everyone I'm a pussy about it. One of the cool things is I mess around with my odds. I am kind of juice averse, so I move it to 115 and then I do something at 120. And I'm currently looking and I have found exactly what I want, which is, well, first of all, it's standing right out. Basically, Hall of Fame Bets is telling me that there's crazy value on the Dostal over saves. And our site has told you that Dostal's been elite when it comes to a save prop. These are like when this is super red, you want that as a save prop. This thing here, like anything that's save above expected means he's getting shots on them and he's saving them. So so what I'll do is I'll go into trend section on Hall of Fame Bets. I will sort by a matchup grade. I have all the categories open and I'm going to see kind of what bubbles up and then see if something matches. This is how I use it with our site, Handygraphs. If you don't use Handygraphs, you could just use it in general. If you did not have Handygraphs, you could go here. You could look. You could then go to Dostal, and then what you want to look at is, all right, well, how has he been lately? See that he's been over this number a lot. And then you could also look at how he's been basically against a top-level opponent. Still basically the same kind of hit rate. Opponent with a defensive rank that's in the bottom half. That's a big one to look at. So he's basically – these are starts. In 4 of his last 5 starts, he has gone over this against opponents like Utah, who are in the bottom half. So I'm going to take
one of my favorite team names in sports, the Mammoths.
I'm going to take this. I'm going to take him for his over saves at 26.5. And they added Novig, which is awesome. Novig needs to add a desktop.
Yeah. I can't wait till I know Bet365 is coming at some point, which I'll be very happy about. Hopefully for baseball next year, actually, they'll have that.
They should have that. They have everything on here, but this is great. I'm totally going to I'm going to look at betting this. And so that is it, as we are now going to wait for our guys to come in and we're going to start doing our draft. Before they get in, I'm assuming I'm assuming they all got links.
Do we want to quickly talk about Naylor? We've got if we have a minute here since
let's do that. We got a minute.
That was some news.
Yeah. So
I mean, you and I both called this. I feel like we both said
you called it. You were like, "This is." Well, we were talking in our mini version a week ago. You said, "Well,
that's true."
Naylor's going back.
Our tease, 20-minute. Yeah,
our 20-minute tease.
I mean, I thought this. I honestly, when I saw what the contract value for the AAV was, I was like, this no-brainer for Seattle to do this. So now the question is going to be, is it Polanco or is it Suarez that they're going to decide between? Because I think one of those two they're going to bring back. But I can tell you which one I think they should bring back. But I am not surprised. That you're going to
say this one you're going to say this for one of your draft decisions.
Yeah, I'm not giving anything away. I'm just saying that they've got a decision to make between those two guys. They're not going to sign both of them. So now that Naylor's locked up.
Yeah, like one of the things that I looked at. Scott's saying he needs the link. So Spencer, do you want to shoot him the link, and then we can do, and then that's Scott's like, I don't have a link, and Pete's like, I don't have a link. So it's all good. So just shoot them the link while we're doing this. Anyway, I was looking at teams with a lot of cash on hand. Seattle's right there in the middle. At 75 mil on there. I didn't realize this, and this will impact us later, but I guess cash on hand is different than, let me see the payroll. So let's look at the payroll. Hold on. So payroll wise, where's Seattle? Seattle 80. The payroll is only 81. Like third.
They don't
15.
really spend. They have room to definitely like put more money into the team.
The Braves had a payroll.
Not that much.
Braves had 176 on their payroll, I guess. And then I was looking, and then I noticed that because we'll talk about this later, but there's a team. Their payroll is crazy low, and it's because all of their players are basically arbitration eligible.
You're seeing the Mariners. I'm seeing the Mariners at 160 as their payroll.
What site are you? Wait, what are you using?
I'm on Fangraphs.
You know what I'm looking at? I'm looking at what's currently on the books for 26. 25. You are right. You are totally right. Because they had a lot. Yeah, 100. I see a payroll.
I was going to say that seemed really low. Even
165.
By the
yeah. And the Orioles are one that's like 158, and there's a 64. It's basically what's active on their stuff. They you can sort. One of the things that's fun is the Texas Rangers. They have an injured dollar payroll of $103 million.
Crazy.
So there you go. Spencer just said. All right, Scott's in. Scott's coming in. Let's do it. We can start talking to Scott. Scott,
how's it going? What's up?
It's good. We're good, man. Just we're gonna try to pull this whole nonsense off. Are you excited? Are you ready to talk about baseball towards the middle of football season or no?
Well, you're paying me $0 to do it, so I'm here.
Yeah, that's what we want. So far, by the way,
it's because it's the love of the game. That's why you're here, Scott.
Yeah,
that is why he's here. Pete's probably putting his kids to bed, so we will see. I don't know.
You busy in the middle of November to prepare a draft list of free agents who are not going to sign
all,
for 3 months? Sure, yeah, I'm ready to go. Yeah, let's do it.
Fun. Well, it's funny, and I talked to you earlier, and I'm like, "What's going on?" You're like, "I'm really in it. I'm deep in it." So
Scott, you made me spend like the last half hour prepping for this thing because Berg was like, "Scott's got like a list." Like I don't know.
Because I know Scott well enough to know that Scott not only is going to have a list because he does that, but he's going to be the master of like 1-year deal guides that nobody was thinking of, which is why when I was thinking on a couple, I started to pivot. So I'll say this while we buy a little time before Pete comes in. Overall, who are you like? Give me who are the three guys, generally speaking, over for the free agents that you think are going to just command the most attention?
Wait, so you want me to sabotage my entire draft plan?
Oh, never mind. That's actually a bad idea.
No,
you're
it's
right.
fine.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Okay. So,
tell me your
I'm going to point out,
though,
one thing. You mentioned the 1-year deal stuff. I did try to stay away from those. I did try to focus more. I have a couple of, forgotten guys that are free agents, but I didn't go for the random 1-year backup infielder. Like, I didn't do any of that, so it's fine. I kept it relatively well-known names. So that's how I went.
So these are well-known guys. Okay, yeah. Well, we got Pete, so I don't even have to stall for it. You don't have to say anything now. You got to stall for it. It's great. Where's Pete? Officially, Scott will be the only person on the show with no kids.
Yeah, that's fine.
It'll be great. This is a maximum dad episode.
Very, very plus TV move, by the way.
There Scott, he is. So. What's going on, Pete?
Hey, I was just getting my audio set up.
Yeah, look at that. Listen to that sexy voice. Say that again. Say that again. Say it again.
I was getting my balls dropped off.
Pete's awesome, and he's one of my favorite baseball people. He's one of my favorite humans. We had a great plan of going to the NLCS until the Phillies lost everything.
Yeah. Wait. Which year was that?
This year.
Too soon? Too soon? Can I say that? No, it's fine.
Yeah. All right. So here's how it's gonna go, and Scott's gonna get the first pick, but basically, we're going to wing this. Like I said, Talking Baseball has been doing this for years and they do this really well, but we're going to try to do it. You will name a guy. You don't have to name how much money it is, but just the guy and like how many years. I will put it in a little tracker, but basically, and then it kind of opens up if other people add another guy. So Scott, you get to go first. You can kick us off. Who is the first free agent that you are picking and where are they going?
Sure. So for this one, I am going to go with the team that was in the World Series, actually. And it was a team that we roasted for the entire season, having a former Philly as their closer, who most people thought was not very good. And then Rojas took him deep, and they blew the entire series. So I do think Toronto might overcorrect here. I got Edwin Diaz going to the Blue Jays here. I actually did write out contracts just for the hell of it.
Yeah. What do you got him going there for?
I got 4 years, $84 million. I think they might overpay a little bit of expected. I'll give him $21 million per year. Look, Diaz, at the end of the day, is still a very solid reliever. And the point is Toronto. You could argue they might prioritize Bichette We'll see. They made the World Series without him, so I do wonder if they're going to be focusing more on bullpen. But I do think after everyone roasted them all season for using Hoffman, and then, of course, he blew Game 7, I do see an overcorrection. Give me Edwin Diaz going to Toronto for 4 years.
That's where I had him going. To be totally like does anybody have Edwin Diaz going somewhere else or?
I actually had him go to the Giants.
Did you?
I did. I had him going to the Giants. Well, I mean, more because my draft strategy is there's a few other guys I think the Giants are going to miss out on, but it's a clear need for that team. Like they're also going to spend, and I had him going there for 3 years, $60 million.
I think I had him going to the Jays for the exact same reasons that Scott had named, which is they realized that Jeff Hoffman is better suited as a 7-8 than like Jeff Hoffman hit a wall in August, and and it stinks.
He was great in the first half, though.
He was great. But also, did you hear his comments afterwards? Like he's kind of like, it's kind of interesting that him and Orion both had these last moments of their season that are probably going to make them connected for a while as former teammates, where they're just, I think Orion can bounce back, but like, I don't know if like Hoffman was really shell shocked on that.
Throw Alvarado in there with steroids.
Yeah. I mean, well, this is good. I mean, he got his qualifying. He was on the field. So, Pete, you are up next. Who is going second? Who do you have going and where are they going?
I just get a list of 4 guys and where I thought I was going. Does that work?
You can give one and you pick where he is.
Right.
And then you get to turn. Yeah. So just give one that hasn't been named.
All right. First one. Kyle Schwarber. Kyle Schwarber going back to the Phillies.
There we go.
I mean, I'm doing this out of hope and desire that I want him to come back, but it's got to make the most sense, right? I mean, he's got 50 bombs. What is he, 30? It'll bring him probably to like
31.
31.
Is he 33? No, I thought he was 31.
I think we will check.
He's 32 years old.
Okay, we're all wrong.
32.
So there you go.
Thanks, Scott.
No problem.
None of us know how to look at somebody's age. We're terrible dads. Our kids, like, well, how old's your kid? I don't know, 2. He's 7.
Yeah.
What are you doing? All right,
just don't say 36 months and make me do math.
Oh my God, why do wives do that?
I don't know. It's dumb.
like measuring your kid in the metric system.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, so Schwarber going back. Tell me about it. What's the deal?
Probably 5 years, 145. They're going to overpay on the years, right? You're going to pay for it up front, just like they did with Trey Turner, who's signed through till he's 40. So you're going to pay for it for that window that you have up front. I don't see him going anywhere else unless someone offers him an absurd amount of money. But to make up his numbers, I think it would just make the most sense.
I had him going back. I mean, this isn't boring takes by me, but I have him. I just think that they're gonna, exactly what Pete said. Dombo's gonna overpay. Like, it would be a PR disaster for him to walk. Mm-hmm. Did anyone have him going somewhere else?
I did not, but
I had him going back.
I wanted to segue this though. If we all think they go back, does that mean you're picking Suarez and Real Muto to leave?
No, not necessarily.
Okay, so you think there is a possibility they actually can re-sign?
Yeah, because there's a well, I mean, for the Philly, like this is the whole point of this whole episode, but like Phillies are going to have Castellanos money coming off the books. They also there is no cap, as we've noticed in baseball, so they're just kind of like they'll spend and they can do what they're
last year of it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not spoiling anybody who hasn't, but like I don't think that Suarez is going back to Phillies, but maybe somebody else does.
I don't either, but I'm not going to spoil it. I was just wondering if you thought there was a world, because some people might think, well, they might prioritize getting multiple guys as opposed to.
I think they are. I think that they can. The Phillies are one of those teams that can still do that. They're not trying to cut payroll, and this is it. Yeah. They have an 18-month window right now.
But I think some of them don't make the cut.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get there when we get CJ. I'll let CJ go, but after this round, I can address that one guy. But go, CJ.
All right, so I have got. Unfortunately, it's going to pay me to say this, but I think this is inevitable because this team is inevitable. People are going to flip out about it, and it's going to be one of the reasons that there probably will be some sort of at least salary floor or cap next year. I've got Kyle Tucker going to the Dodgers. deal worth 7 years, $260 million. This is just what the Dodgers do, and he's already been linked there. They have the money to spend on it. They need an outfielder bad, and every time we think that this team, the rich can't get richer, they prove us wrong. So I've got Kyle Tucker going to the Dodgers.
I had him go to the Jays. I had them. I mean, I think it would be Dodgers. For me, I had him as Dodgers or Jays. And you and I talked about it a little bit, but the length of the contract makes total sense because of his age. Like he's like all these guys that are under 30 are going to get 7 and 8 year deals. But I think they had to do it. I mean, 260s. Like I guess I'm a cheap owner. I had him. I'm like 6 at 180, and like that's
Bob nutting over here.
No
Yeah,
way.
really.
I mean, he's getting if you're gonna give, I'm just saying, if you're gonna give Schwarber, what was it? Was it Pete 5 years, 145?
5 years, 145.
You're gonna give Schwarber. There's no way that if that is the market, Kyle Tucker plays the field and he's like 3 years younger, and he's getting at least 35 a year for that.
Nope, I agree. Do you guys think Kyle Tucker goes somewhere else?
The truth, I thought Tucker was one of the unpredictable ones for me because I feel like you mentioned it and I agree with you. Kyle Tucker has a certain market, and maybe it's just me personally. I just would not pay him that amount of money. So I actually don't know like how many teams he can realistically go to because you might think that the price tag is just naturally high. Like, would I want Kyle Tucker for that many years for that much money? I wouldn't. I wouldn't. I feel like people have tried to group him. I don't want to say in the Soto type of landscape, but the point is you're like, oh, Soto went to the Mets for $700 million. Yeah, Tucker maybe is worth like $400 or $500 million. And I'm like, are we watching the same guy? Like, I never thought he was worth that much money. So I don't really know what the fair asking price is. And I wonder if that scares some teams off.
Well, I mean, like, I think on Tucker, I have concerns about Tucker's recent injury history because it seems very.
That's the point I'm kind of saying.
Like that wrist thing last year, both years now, they've been super cagey about his injury. Like when he broke his shin on, like we all knew it. It was on Sunday Night Baseball. And he took that ball into the shin 2 years ago in Houston, and it was very clear that he broke his leg. And they just said, "Oh yeah, They didn't even put him on the IL for 2 more weeks, and then they finally comes back in August. Said, by the way, he broke his leg. And this year, it was the wrist that they suddenly say right around the All-Star break. Oh, by the way, he has a busted wrist. He went on a tear because he clearly had an injection of some sort. But they're so cagey about his injuries, it makes me wonder if there's other things that he has that are broken on him.
The question that I'll ask, though, I'm sorry, you can go, CJ.
Well, I was going to say, my counter there to you, Scott, is just he's a career 136 WRC plus player, and he's 28 years old, and he's a lefty, and he can field.
I get it. There's a lot of skills there.
I don't think he's going to be in the Soto camp, but he's young enough. He's a 4.5 career WAR player each season, even with the injury history. Someone is going to pay him a bag.
I think somebody will too. But the part that scared me off is I agree with you. I think he is a 5-tool player. And I feel like maybe you could argue he's been underrated this whole time throughout his career. Maybe that's why I view him differently than other superstar players. But I do want to ask you, Tucker joined the league in 2018. Do you want to guess how many seasons he's played at least 141 games? Do you want to guess how many seasons?
This year's Ketel Marte.
I have a Fangraphs page up, so I can't answer.
The answer is 2. He's played 141 games twice in a season his entire career. So that does scare me off a little bit. So last point I'll make. I think Tucker's worth money. I just question if a team will completely unload the bag, maybe more so than we anticipate. So we'll see.
I mean, that works. All right.
You're up, Bert.
I'm up. All right. So I'm ready. I'm going to drop a blockbuster in here, and I'm going to keep it with some of these teams. I've talked to you all about this, but this rumor is out there, and I think the Detroit Tigers are going to make a big splash, and it's going to be a big splash with someone who can be on this team for quite some time because they have a bunch of NPCs and Javi Baez in their organization. So they're going to unload the clip on Bo Bichette and give him $230 million for 8 years. And they're probably going to convince him to move to third similar to the Manny deal with the Padres a couple of years ago, where the Padres got him to move to third. I just think that this is also going to be something because they know that they want to keep Skubal after this year, and this is sort of a winning move for them. This is a huge issue that they have. They really don't have consistent hitters. We're 2 years removed from Bichette effectively like sitting out almost that entire season. I think he did sit out all of 2024 almost because he was quote unquote hurt and he just had problems with that organization. I think that it's great. I think it's a great story, but I think that this is look, they missed out on Bregman last year and they have really needed someone over in that corner infield. And I think that I think they're going to unload it for Bo Bichette. So yeah, I have Bo Bichette going there, and I have it as an 8-year, $230 million deal. So there it is. So you got plenty. The Jays will have plenty of money for Kyle Tucker because Bo Bichette is going to Detroit. So.
I think CJ and I made the same reaction with our faces when you actually laid out the amount of money and the amount of years going to Bichette. Because maybe I just didn't internalize like how much of a bag he's going to actually get. But yeah, that sounds about right.
I had him for a similar deal. I had him for 10. I had him for 10. No, I had him personally. I think he's going back to the Blue Jays. But
I mean, he's 27, by the way. So like, he's absolutely getting a 7 or 8 year deal.
I have him for a 10. I have 10 years, $200 million, and I don't think that is a crazy
hometown discount
for him. Yeah, I think he gets. I think he takes the if he goes back to Toronto. I could see a longer extension. I could see a little bit of a discount on the AAV, but I think he's a $200 million player.
Yeah.
He almost led the league in hits. If he doesn't get hurt, he leads the league in hits last year.
Well, he does almost every year. I mean, he's one of the best contact hitters in the entire league.
Yeah.
The question is always the defense with him.
And he came back. Dude, he batted 400 in the World Series.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
he's got one of the coldest home runs in the postseason.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. That was so cold. Does anyone see him going anywhere other than home or my craziness of him going to Detroit?
I had Toronto personally. But...
Yeah, Toronto. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll go back to Scott. Back around. Back to you. Who you got?
All right. I'll stick with the blockbuster names first. We'll get them out of the way. I did kind of pivot off of Tucker. I was going to let Tucker situations play himself out and go with the scraps afterwards. I got Cody Bellinger going back to the Yankees for what I think is going to be a pretty decent deal. I mean, I think the Yankees are going to pay a decent amount. I got 6 years, 180. I think he goes for $30 million each. At the end of the day, the Yankees, of course, did lose Soto. That was the backup idea, which was Bellinger, who was fine this entire season. I thought Bellinger was pretty good. Postseason, he was a mess, but either way, point is he did his part. Good fielder in general. I don't want to spoil our thoughts on Trent Grisham if he gets brought up on the show, but I think he's gone. So I think you need a good defensive outfielder anyway. But Bellinger, short porch in right field, can play a bunch of different outfield positions. Judge has also been injured recently, so I think Bellinger's versatility in the outfield helps. I think they bring him back personally. I got Bellinger 6 years, 180.
Anyone have him going somewhere else?
I had Bellinger going to the Phillies, but I also had him for the same exact AAV, Scott. I had him for 5 years.
Man, I was way underpaying him then.
So I had $30 million a year. He's not. I mean, he's still only 30 years old.
Yeah.
Again, same thing. Lefty can play is a good fielder. He had a 4.9 WAR last year. Like that was his second best season in terms of WAR in his career. I think people kind of forget that. Like he was very good for them last year. So
but you can't believe that if he's coming to the Phillies, then Schwarber is too.
No, I don't know.
Two left-handed bats, one's a DH and one's an outfielder. You're either going to get one or the other.
That's fair. I guess the way I was thinking of it, the way I obviously him being a lefty is the thing, but I don't want to end up with what the Phillies had a couple of years ago. I had the other thought that I have of why he would be appealing to the Phillies would be because he could play first, he could play outfield, and he could DH, and then he basically could rotate. They could basically do a lot. They could move Harper around, but again, the move doesn't make sense if Schwarber's there too. It just doesn't, because then you have multiple lefties, and Schwarber ends up being the odd man. You're overpaying a DH then.
Yeah,
is what ends up happening. So, and Cody could DH.
And we already have a first baseman. His name's Bryce Harper. He's not going anywhere else. He's not going to right field.
Dude, he got Gold Glove votes this year too. He was great.
It's better for the longevity of his career to stay at first base.
I completely agree. Score update, by the way, we won the death cap under 9.5 in Q1 for this game, and then
Let's
the
go.
Cowboys immediately scored a chalky touchdown with CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah.
All right, Pete, what do you got, and who's going where?
All right, next one. I'll stick with Ranger Suarez. I got him going to the Blue Jays actually for like a 5-year deal. Reunion with Hoffman. And Suarez is one of the best postseason pitchers I have like watched with my own eyes. And now the Blue Jays have a window of going possibly back to the World Series or deep in the postseason. So I think they would value a guy who has that postseason experience and who's like postseason. He's going to have a back issue in June or July, but I just thought that would be a good fit.
No, I mean, I had him there, or I had him the Braves as another one.
That's nasty. Those
it's
rivalry games would be wild though.
I know. Well, he owns that team, so he might. It's kind of like would they do that? And I had similar reasoning as you. It's just he can keep. It's the I think the Jays the Jays ultimately make the most sense, and I like kind of added the Braves because I think the Braves need to do something. But like the Jays make the most sense because it's a good he's a ground ball pitch. He's a really good ground ball pitcher, and he's got a good infield behind him. Either of you guys have Ranger Suarez going anywhere?
I thought about Atlanta, but I didn't actually lock that down. I honestly thought that Ranger was a pretty tricky choice. I didn't really have any strong opinion on Ranger, but I don't mind the Blue Jays call, and that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, he could go to the Orioles too, right? Just as easily.
Yeah.
I mean,
which we made as a rumor last year. Orioles could have traded for him last year. They listened to this show, and that one Orioles fan yelled at me, said it was never happening.
I had him going to the Cubs. I know the Cubs obviously have, I believe Boyd's still there. So that would be adding another lefty, but I don't have them, spoiler alert, winning the Framber sweepstakes. I don't think that they're going to be willing to shell out quite the bag that they're going to need to get Framber, but I do think they will go and spend and get a starting pitcher. And Ranger's one of those guys too, where like, he kind of can pitch like almost at any park just because of how he pitches. He's just a ground ball type of pitcher, and he's going to be valuable. So I got him going to the Cubs 4 years, $100 million.
I can see it.
That would be my next pick.
All right, CJ, your turn.
All right, so I just mentioned him, so I guess I'll go and pick him now. So I got Framber going to the Blue Jays. So
Blue
I know Blue Jays are
loaded, guys.
Insane amount of money on this draft, but I'm just sticking with it. Fuck it. So
no, it's fine.
I've got Framber going to the Blue Jays at 6 years, $147 million. Look, this team, they have to go out and get a starter. I know we already said, I think Diaz was already sent there. Just as much as they needed bullpen help, they needed another starting pitcher. And you can't come into the season with the rotation that they're going to bring in with Gausman, Savage, and I think they would go for another piece. So I had Framber going to the Blue Jays on a 6-year deal.
I had Framber. Well, did anyone here? Let me see. Did anyone have Framber going anywhere? Scott, you're a Framber guy, aren't you?
Depends. Before or after he intentionally threw.
Before what? Sorry, you broke up. Before he intentionally. I just heard.
Am I good now?
Yeah, now you are.
Okay.
Say it again.
I was going to say I was a bigger fan before he threw at his own catcher.
Oh yeah, I remember that. That was great.
So yeah, I think Framber at the end of the day, I think he's fine. But I guess the question is, we know that, let's say he's had a couple of up and down, I'd say stretches in almost every season where he looks like he is a Cy Young candidate for a couple months and then he gets blown up for a month straight. I was kind of wondering, with the kind of flame out is the word I'll use with Houston, if that will impact any of the potential money he might get. But I think at the end of the day, he's still an innings eater. He tends to pitch a ton every single year. He'll get paid a lot of money.
Which reminds me, I know we didn't say it, but like Ranger I could see Houston doing stuff, but then they have a lot of guys because they have that good infield. But that makes sense on Framber. I mean, Pete, did you have him going anywhere? Are you a Framber guy?
I mean, I like watching him pitch, but I didn't have him going anywhere.
Yeah, the only one that I thought, and this is going to come up, I guess I'll probably drop him for this next one. But like, I thought I could see. I think the Giants are going to spend a lot because I think Buster Posey just thinks that that's what you need to do, and they need a lefty. And while that ballpark doesn't require them to have a ground ball lefty, they have a solid infield. They have a solid left side of the field. I would say just the non-Rafty side is pretty good defensively. So I could have seen him going there, but yeah, instead I'm going to use this pick. I'm going to two guys who I want to use. I'll wait on that. I'm going to wait on this one. I'm going to pivot, but the one that CJ and I have been talking about a lot, I got the Mets all-time home run leader going to the AL East, but he's not going where you guys think. Guess where he's going? He's not going to New York. He's not going to, what is it? Would be across the bridge. He's not going to Boston. He's going to Baltimore. He's going to Baltimore Orioles on a 2-year, $40 million deal with a player option that would basically make the AAV 72, or we make the whole deal 72. So he's going to go to the Orioles. Orioles are going to figure out what they're going to do. They're going to realize that they can't move Adley to first. They're going to probably trade Adley. They're going to decide they now have new ownership. They're going to actually pay for someone. They moved their right field in. It's part of why they got Tyler O'Neill. They need a right-handed pull hitter, and that guy is going to be Pete Alonso. He's going to play first base. He can play a little bit of DH for them. They're going to probably trade Mountcastle or do something with him. But I got Pete Alonso. Pete Alonso to the Polar Bear is going to Baltimore, but he's going on a 2-year deal. A 2-year, we'll call it 42 with a player option. So CJ, I know you've been waiting to talk about why you don't like this, but kind of say use it through the lens of where you think he is going as a Mets fan.
I mean, I purposely waited for you to fall into this trap. So okay. I was just waiting for you to go and try and say something stupid. But I mean, I just think that I will say, I did text you full transparency before the show that the Naylor AAV leaked, which was $18.5 million for the 5 years. And I thought that Naylor was probably going to get as much or in a similar market to Pete, in terms of, I know Pete obviously can bring a lot more power, but I guess my biggest thing when you had said this the other day that you were thinking about dropping this, and it was just that I just don't see.
And you were adamant, by the way, you were like, there are takes that you are just like, no, you were like I am about you just saying, hey, I think that the Eagles might win. I'm like, hell no, or something. You were just, no, it's not happening. You were just, and I didn't know if it was you.
Yeah, I believe I just said, like, it's not happening. Haha.
It's not happening.
Like,
but you were like, so.
Yeah, I for one, I don't think that's the type of deal that Boris is going to negotiate. I think we have to expect that he actually is going to get more money than that. I just don't think that makes any sense for him to do a 2-year with a player option when that's like, he just opted out of $27 million that he could have got paid this year. I think that he's probably, I personally still think that, like, it makes the most sense for both sides. Cohen's already gone to Pete and begun negotiations. Apparently talks have been pretty good so far, which is not what happened last year. They kind of were basically not talking to each other until January. And I just don't see Cohen letting Pete go. If it's going to be 2 years and that's the deal, he'll definitely come in for something like, 4 years, 80 million or around that range, because that's what they were offering him 3 years at 27 million last year. And he had a great season. So I don't know. I just don't see the Orioles really spending that kind of money. And if that's the kind of deal that he does ultimately get, then the Mets or somebody else are going to swoop him for something a little bit bigger than that.
Well, out of curiosity, though, as the Mets fan, do you think he goes back to New York, or are you picking another team to actually pay that for Alonso?
I think he does go back to New York. Yes. And I'm not saying this with Mets bias. I really do think that it makes sense for both sides. I think that the negotiations were maybe a little bit, I wouldn't say misreported, but I think there was a lot of stuff that kind of came out during the season that, like, Cohen had kind of kept a pretty good line of communication with Pete all year. And I think the fact that they're already having talks and that this has been something they've probably been talking about, sort of handshake behind the scenes. I just think that that's also the Mets. They have an incentive to bring him back given the roster that they have. It's not like the Mets have this incredibly young roster of fielders besides Soto. Like they do kind of need to spend and continue to bring in that type of power.
No, I don't disagree. I think I base a lot of this off. I think Pete overvalued his value in the market, and that's kind of where I am on this. Is that I think the opt out on his. I think he's getting bad Boris advice. Is to be totally clear. Like I think that at 31, I think he'll be 32 when the season starts. He is not going to get a 5-year deal. No one's going to pay him 5 years to not be able to do anything but singles and home runs. And he's starting this. The fact that they've leaked out that he'd be open to playing DH means that they know that there isn't the market that there is for him. So I think his career, I think he has moved into 2-year option territory as a player. And I just think that is a fit, and it's with a new ownership that needs to do something. And an Orioles team that did not do well power-wise last year, and also just has needed vets for a while. Like that team their average age on that team is 27. Like that team is really young. I was looking at the on Fangraphs, there's the the roster makeup. Everybody on that team is like arbitration eligible next year, or they're like in a wire because they're all on their rookie deals. So I think that it's a good one for them to have in that locker room, especially how it's built. Anybody else have Pete going anywhere?
No, Adam, that was just like the wildest thing I've ever heard. Pete Alonso
Okay.
to Baltimore. Dude, Pete Alonso is not a market player, dude. And yeah, the 2 years. I mean, we got to take into consideration the 2026 lockout, right? Like that is definitely going to affect contracts and the amounts for those because they don't know how much time they're going to lose. But bro, Pete Alonso to Baltimore is wild. Wild take.
Wild. He likes crabs. All right. So, all right. Scott, we are at the halfway point of all this. So Scott, you are up. Who do you got?
Cool. So I'm going to go with another, what I think is in this case, former Yankee. We mentioned Kyle Tucker before. We did not pick him going back to Chicago, so I am picking his replacement in Chicago. I got Trent Grisham going to the Cubs. I have 3 years, $72 million, about $24 million a year. The Yankees gave him a qualifying offer for around 22, 23. I think he turns it down. The Cubs are a pretty home run dependent team. They were 6th in the league in home runs per game. Fact is, Grisham, whether you like him or not, whether you thought this past year was an aberration or not, very good defensive player, and I do think he can fill in the void of Tucker leaving that team. But he is a lefty, power swing, can fill in, at least hopefully, with the power numbers of Tucker. I think he'll regress dramatically, but I do think that the Cubs will make an effort for it. I think that it makes a lot of sense because I think we all agree Tucker might go to a bunch of different places. Chicago's probably not one of them. So I see them going to plan B. Give me Trent Grisham to go to the Cubs, 3 years, $72 million.
3 years, 72, 3 years. I love that you, in typical Scott fashion, you announced where your guy was going and then completely threw him under the bus. And just so
I was just being honest because the argument about Grisham, of course, besides the fact that he was awful in the playoffs, I don't know how much you factor playoff performances into contracts or not. Grisham, for the most part, has been a fine player. I mean, he was with Milwaukee. He was fine. I know, of course, he had the error against Soto, but still, point is, solid young player. Went to San Diego, fine. Showed up with the Yankees. He was thrown into the Soto trade. Nobody thought about it. And then he had 30-plus home runs this past year. So I feel like you can argue it's a pretty risky acquisition because he had such a career year that maybe he just won't repeat those numbers. But I do think the Cubs, if they lose Tucker for nothing, which they're going to, they got to try something. So I can see them trying to find a cheaper replacement with, I don't want to say a similar skill set, but there are some overlapping areas, the good defense, the home run swing, and the Cubs being very home run dependent. I think that Grisham makes a lot of sense.
He has a badass mustache too. CJ, do you have him? CJ or Pete? You guys have Trent Grisham going anywhere else?
No.
I did have him leaving. I gotta say, Scott, I did forget about the qualifying offer because actually I love the move to the Cubs. I had the Reds getting into this as a replacement for Austin Hayes and offering him like a 1-year sort of prove it deal. But again, the qualifying offer, I forgot that it was it 22 million?
I believe it's one. Yeah, it's 1 year, 22. But I think he's going to
Okay.
turn that down. So I think he'll get a similar
Yeah.
number. Couple
So
more
then,
years.
yeah, that probably does knock him out of there. But I had something a little bit fun there with the Reds, but I don't think that'll happen given that he'll turn down that money.
Pete, you're up.
All right. Shota Imanaga, one of my favorite pitchers. I love him. Sorry. Oh, CJ, looks like you had him too.
I think we all love him. He's our favorite. He's easily future friend of the program.
Love Shota.
You guys tell me if this makes sense. Shota's biggest issue is giving up home runs. A very hard park to hit that out of would be Oracle Park. And then also he is Japanese. Let's be real, dude. Him and Jung Ho Lee, San Francisco, LA. There's just certain markets that fit Japanese players, and Chicago was one of them. And now I would say the Giants. Does that make sense?
100%. 100%. That was that's actually what I had as my pick. I completely agree. I'll let you run with it. I completely agree.
Oh yeah, that was pretty much it. It's a good pitcher's park. He's Japanese, 3 years, 55 maybe.
Yep. That's what I had.
Yeah.
They need a lefty in that. They need a lefty in that rotation. He'd be perfect. He doesn't walk a lot of guys. We were talking with CJ and I talked about this. We had him for whip leader, which he randomly got like Undertaker gift at the end and just didn't have enough. If you don't use qualified starters or if you only had 25 starts, he was third in the league in whip. And despite opening the season walking 6 guys in that game.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I completely agree with this. We talked about this on the show last week, but I completely agree. CJ, do you want to add anything?
No, I mean, I love it. I think that makes a ton of sense. That was one of the places I had it on my list. I actually did have him in a slight reversal prior to this. I had him going to the Mets on a 3-year, $54 million deal. Part of the reason for that just being that seems just kind of like a player that a David Stearns would like in terms of being able to, again, kind of good lefty, low whip, and has Senga there, a team that's been tried desperately to get more Japanese players over to the Mets. They were trying to get on Sasaki, tried to get on Yamamoto as well. So I had him. I think that's kind of a sleeper team in my opinion, but I think the Giants make a ton of sense for him.
Agreed. Scott, do you have anything on Shota?
No, I agreed. I thought the Giants made a lot of sense. The home run issues, that ballpark makes perfect sense.
Yeah. All right, CJ.
All right, so I got to pivot here because Pete snaked me on that one. I'll tell you, you know what? I'm going to go with one that I think is just an absolute dynamite fit, and that's Ha-Seong Kim going to the Yankees, 2 years with a player option at $30 million. I think it just makes a ton of sense for the Yankees. I think it's time to
get rid of Volpe. The Volpe experiment's over.
It's time to admit defeat on Volpe. Now, will this happen? This draft is not necessarily about the reality versus expectations from us, but yeah, I just think that like
CJ, what did you have? What did you have money wise? What did you have?
I had him going to the Yankees, 2 years with a player option at $30 million. Is what I have him going there. So probably around fair for his market. But I think he would do wonders for that team, both from a, just a hitting perspective and also his great fielder as a shortstop. So don't have him going to the Braves. I think the Yankees trade Volpe, move on from him. Both teams need a new start at shortstop, and that's what I got.
Nice. All right. I'm going to go, and I had one guy, but I'm going to go with a different one. Another guy who CJ and I know, but actually all 4 of us are big fans of this guy. So I'm not going to let anybody be out of this, but Michael King, I have going to, in another one of those amazingly puzzling moves, but one I think we could all see. I have him going to the Angels on a 3-year deal, similar to similar to what's his names that they had last year.
Kikuchi.
Kikuchi. I like a 3-year, $53 million deal, player opt after 2027. So he basically can get out of it. All these deals, I kind of think that they're gonna give him if they lose a year for the lockout kind of you get an opt out, but if you don't, you do. I have him going there. Angels like to kind of take these chances on players that have high ceilings and maybe have injury history and stuff like that. Like Kikuchi's like a great example of this. They did this. They did it with what's his name, like Tyler Anderson. They do it with all these guys. He not only that, but a deal like that, bringing him over there, the Angels, that's a team friendly deal that they could get him. King could pitch more, rebuild his stock, and get traded. He's also, he's not, he's 31, but this kind of doesn't take that stuff away from him. But I think after the year he had last year, him going to the Angels and them convincing him, look, come over here, we'll give you a high AAV that you want at least. And hey, maybe we'll trade you to a contender because we're not one player away. I think that that's something that makes sense. We heard it a lot with Kikuchi last year, and I could see that being the same case with Michael King. Anybody else have Michael King going somewhere?
No, but I like that strategy.
Thank you.
It's good. I had him going to the Braves on a 1-year deal, prove it deal with a player option.
Same kind of thinking is that we don't think that he's like that. I mean, I think his ceiling is insane. Like he's awesome. Mm-hmm. And Scott and I can vouch, he made us a lot of money when he did pitch. Him and Carlos Rodon were, I think, our best pitchers that we got with. But yeah, I think someone's gonna make him prove it. Is pretty much the thing.
I had him going to Houston.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to tell me about that.
I did. Well, I thought if I was going to pick Framber to leave, I know that he's a lefty, but that opens up some money and that opens up a massive hole in the rotation. So I thought that getting a guy with upside, we know Houston has worked wonders with the pitching department for years. I do think that it would make sense with that team. I had King going there, but you can make an argument for a bunch of teams like Atlanta or Houston. They can kind of sign anybody, and you wouldn't be surprised because you just say, all right, that kind of sounds like something they would do randomly. I had King going to the Astros.
I could see it because the thing is that they're in this weird spot where they have these couple of young guys, but then everyone else is just like the bottom's kind of falling out of the rest of that rotation. All right. Scott, you're up for the final round.
Yeah, so I had a couple of choices. I could have done the random move, which I feel decent about, or I could have stuck with the big money move. I'll go for the big money move. So I'll go for a pitcher that I don't really like. I think he's one of the most overrated pitchers in the entire league. But I think it makes sense for this franchise who has a history of overpaying for disasters at the starting position rotation to take a swing. I got Dylan Cease going to the Orioles.
Whoa!
At 6 years, $162 million.
There you go. Hold on. Let me get this in. Cease, how many? How much?
I got 6 years, $162.
Oh, man.
Baltimore's rotation has been a disaster for a long time. They've tried to bring in guys for money. They tried to bring in cheap guys. None of it ever works. But Cease, I think, makes sense with Baltimore. There's been some rumors linking the two already. But, look, at the end of the day, Baltimore needs a pitcher. And the fact is they will try to throw money out there. You mentioned Alonso. I'll go for the rotation department instead. Yeah. Give me Dylan Cease, 6 years.
I like it. I mean, I had him going another place, but I'll let CJ knows what it is. So I'll let CJ say it.
Oh, well, I think you and I might have, I think I might have a different, I have him going to the Red Sox.
I did not have that. Okay. Yeah.
Which will be a horrible fit for him. He will get absolutely shelled in that ballpark. But
a prediction of a player that's going to be miserable for the next 5 years.
Yeah, but you know what? Has Dylan Cease ever been happy in his career? Because he seemed kind of miserable, like pretty much every stop he's been at. And at some
point, give him credit
for
the White Sox stop, though.
Yeah,
anyone's miserable there.
Yeah,
that's our future. That's our future AL pennant winning worst to first Red Sox next year or White Sox.
That's it. You're not going to be miserable if you're on the White Sox next year.
Yeah,
called a donation.
Going over your win total.
Yeah. No, so you got him going to the Red Sox. What you had
I got him going to the Red Sox I had him a little bit cheaper than you did, Scott. I had him at 5 years, $120 million on that deal because I just think that Boston's going to. look, they're going to spend some of that Devers money somewhere. I don't think they're going to recap all of it, but I do think they have to go out and get some sort of pitcher. So I had Cease going there.
Well, I guess my counterpoint, though, for the AAV, do you think that Baltimore has to overpay because that involves playing with the Orioles? I don't know if that's an attractive destination or not. I'm wondering if they try to
maybe, but I just got to kind of like, what was the last? So I said this to Adam, and I'll again, I know it's a new ownership group. This is the first thing Adam's going to say, but the last time that the Baltimore Orioles paid any player over $16 million a year was Chris Davis back in 2016.
They're still paying.
They're still paying that, yeah.
They do not pay guys like for that kind of salary. So it's one of the reasons why I just always thought the Alonso to Baltimore stuff kind of didn't make sense, because they don't spend money that way, and they've had the same president of baseball ops since 2018. So, but to your point, I mean, maybe they need to overpay if they're going to be in the same market as the Red Sox and some of these other teams.
They're also only 3 years removed from winning 100 games. And it's the same guys on that team. And which is the one thing that is interesting that does support what you're talking about. Gunnar hasn't signed an extension. Adley hasn't signed an. Adley didn't sign an extension. None of those guys who they love. Gunner's constantly in MVP conversation in his 3 years. And they haven't even given him an extension. All these guys signed their deals. So you might not be wrong. You're not wrong. I think we all agree they got to do something.
I just thought it was a very Orioles move if they would overpay.
It's a very Orioles.
I thought that was a very Orioles move. So.
No, it is. It completely makes sense. Pete, what do you got? Final pick.
Last one. I have Ryan Helsley going to the Cubs for 3 years, $40 million.
What just happened? That was my fault.
Kicked everybody out.
My bad. Sorry.
Kicked them all. You were so surprised.
I typed the wrong thing. Yeah.
Surprised at Ryan Helsley. Yeah. So Cubs are going to lose out on Tucker. They need bullpen help. They traded Kittredge. Brad Keller is going to go to free agency. Him and Palencia. I really like Daniel Palencia. He throws fucking gas and he comes out to awesome music. So him there in the bullpen. And then again, rivalry games will be awesome with the Cardinals. So I just like that.
Yeah, that's good. What do you got on the terms?
3 years, $40 million, just because of what you sent. But yeah,
I don't know if anybody's watching the last 3 months of his 2025 season. I don't know if he's getting quite that.
He might get a discount. He's young, right? Yeah, he's only how old is he? Right? Oh no, he was 31. Yeah. No, well, they project him at 13 mil a year. So 13 or 14 mil a year. Cubs could overpay to stabilize.
They're not going to have to pay Kyle
Are you going to be
Tucker.
there for the jersey retirement?
for Helsley?
Yeah. You're going to be there for the jersey retirement at Citi Field?
Oh yeah. Same with Gregory Soto and pretty much any of the pitchers that they acquired last year.
Shout out to Aaron Heilman.
All right, CJ, final pick.
Damn, I'm glad Pete you coming in here with some of the guys that I had circled on my list, because I had Helsley also. I had Helsley actually going to the Brewers, by the way.
Okay.
As a sneaky relief pick. But I also, if he's going to be getting the kind of money at the 3 years, $40 million, maybe not. But I had him going there kind of on a cheaper deal, more like 2 years, $19 million. So about 9.5.
You're probably right.
The one that I have, I mean, I got to pick him because we haven't mentioned him yet on the board. He is the biggest name remaining by far. So it's Alex Bregman.
There he is.
And I mean, is this even a controversial take, what I'm about to say? He's going to the Tigers at 5 years, $140 million. And it might even be bigger than that now that I'm thinking about it. But Skubal has already come out and openly said that he wants the front office to go back after Bregman. It seemed like the two sides were extremely close to making this happen last year. Adam already made all the points about how this team probably is going to try and do something. I don't think they're going to get Bichette and Bregman, but
no, it makes sense. I think the Bichette is if they strike out with Bregman.
Yeah, maybe going there. But I just, there's a lot of smoke for this to end up happening. So I've got Bregman going to Detroit.
Yeah, I like that too. The other place I see Bregman, and I think like Pete's pretty in tune with this one too, is that if the bottom falls out on Schwarber, I think Bregman's a Philly before the ink is dry on whatever Schwarber signs. If
They're
Schwarber
already
is not,
shopping Bohm.
yeah, and they've done it for a couple of years. I mean, I think Bohm. I saw a rumor floated that I really liked that was
Anstrom.
Bohm. Yeah, Bowman Strom for Harry Ford, and which I loved. But yeah, I could see Bregman. Bregman's like everyone says like Bregman's a culture fit with the Phillies. I'm like, what does that mean? Because he's MAGA and like white? Like, what does that mean? But no,
Is he
just,
really?
I know, he's a nice Jewish boy. I don't know, but he's I would love him as a Philly for obvious reasons. I mean, I'm not super crazy about giving it a 32-year-old like a 5-year deal, but I'm super conservative and my team would fail. So but I agree with CJ. I mean, it's Tigers it's 90% Tigers is this, and so I'd agree with that. Scott, did you have anything on the Rabbi Bregman?
No, I'm just confused. You said you were conservative. I thought you were reform. Good.
All right. Hey, what was your Bregman deal? Just so I write that down, CJ.
I have him at 5 years, $140 million.
140 and 5 to the Tigers. Okay, I'm gonna close out the draft with a not just a non-sexy name, but an important name either way, and that is I got Merrill Kelly. I got Merrill Kelly going to the Red Sox on a 1-year deal. And I had it as a cheaper version of what you had mentioned with Dylan Cease, but without the home run problems. With Merrill Kelly, like he's actually like he's a workhorse on innings. They're gonna have some younger guys. Like the rest of the team is actually like really young. He's gonna be able to give them those innings. He's fantastic on the road in a division where they're gonna have to play a lot of tough road environments, and he's been pretty exceptional against lefties pretty much his entire career. So even his stop in Korea where he reinvented himself, and he's old. It's like 37, 36 or something. What is he? He's Merrill Kelly is, let me check that. I think he's Merrill Kelly is 37. So yeah, 1 year. 1 year. Yeah, dude. 1 year, 16 million dollars to the Red Sox. Merrill Kelly. A sexy name to close us out. Was anybody thinking about Merrill Kelly?
No, just when he was going to get his AARP card.
All right. So in the amount of like fun and stuff that this was, does anyone have any names that they didn't get to say that they like want to throw out there as like bonus kind of stuff that they really were like excited about a guy going to a different place?
Yeah, I had a couple. As a Yankees fan, I'll throw out a classic move with no salary cap. I got Devin Williams going to the Dodgers. I think that they can try to rebuild them. Thought about doing that, but I decided, you know what, that isn't very fun. So I just saved that just in case other names were taken. But I had Devin Williams going to the Dodgers, maybe a 2-year deal with an opt-out after 1 was kind of my thoughts there. So I didn't mind Devin Williams there. Sticking with, I mentioned the Braves before. My veteran starting pitcher choice was Brandon Woodruff to the Braves.
That makes a lot of sense.
So those are the main 2 that I had that I was saving.
I like that one. Pete, do you have anything that didn't get said that you want to kind of throw out there?
Not so much. I just been thinking a lot about JT Realmuto.
Oh yeah. What do you think happens with him?
I don't know. I think you have to take into account, like, he has a family. His family's like set up here. Even if he has to take a shorter deal, I think it would make sense for him to stay here. And I think they're going to give him a reasonable offer to keep him on a shorter deal and be like, hey, we can finish this window with us. And then after, we're going to have to, because they have nobody else right now, right? I mean, they just traded one of their top prospects, Tait. Yeah. I know he's only 18 years old, but like anything down the pipeline, but they acquired JT, so they can acquire another catcher just as easy. But yeah, I just been thinking about him.
CJ, did you have any? Oh, by the way, on JT, I could see the same thing. I could also see him going to you know, like just going like I think Talking Baseball might have said him going to the Pirates or something like that and working with like young staff and doing that kind of thing. But
Damn.
it's hard to see him. I mean, the thing is, he's not going to get a ton of money, but I don't know. But he's a catcher and on the wrong side of 30. That's hard to want to invest in that.
If he goes to the Pirates, then he has to be admitting that this is the last year of his career because the Pirates won't sign anybody that is going to be for more than 1 year. So anybody that signs with the Pirates has to be a 1 year deal. That's pretty much how it is there.
CJ, did you have anybody that didn't get? Oh, sorry, Pete.
Oh, I was just gonna say he's like living out the plot of what is that? I just fucking lost the movie. Bull Durham.
Bull Durham, yeah.
The old grizzled catcher with the young hot gun or starting pitcher.
Yeah. All right, I'll be really quick. I'll do this rapid fire because I had a couple other names. I'll just throw out.
Give them up.
I had Lucas Giolito going to the Astros. I know we had the Michael King one there. I thought that one makes a lot of sense for that team. Jorge Polanco, I have him just coming back to the Mariners. I think this team is just trying to basically roll back the exact same roster, except for Eugenio Suarez, who I have going to the Yankees on a 3-year, $45 million deal.
Please no.
And
Wait,
then,
you had Gino going to the Yankees, or you had?
So I have Gino. Okay, yeah. So I have Gino going to the Yankees. I have Giolito going to the Astros. Polanco to the Mariners. And then two quick other ones. I have Willie Castro filling in the shortstop need for the Braves. And I have Gleyber Torres going to the Padres on a 3-year deal.
I had Gleyber also going to the Padres, and I had and I love that Willie Castro to the Braves. I'm surprised I didn't think of that. That's a really good fit. I had Giolito going to the Yankees. I had them giving him like just basically convincing him to do a 3-year, and then I had Rhys Hoskins going to the D-backs on a 2-year deal.
That is such a Diamondback signing.
It's such a Diamondback signing. Yeah,
it's perfect.
I even wore my Rhys Hoskins t-shirt tonight, but I have Rhys Hoskins going to the D-backs, and I had Gallen because I had the Diamondbacks basically their approach of I have them re-signing Gallen, bringing in Rhys Hoskins, and I agreed with you that I think they find a way to get Gino back and originally, and that and they just kind of push some things together. But Rhys Hoskins, I just feel like Rhys Hoskins, like he just reeks of a Diamondback. Like they just need somebody who could strike out 200 times and bat like it just field well. So anybody else have anything else?
My low budget reliever move, which I wasn't going to mention.
Give me.
I have Luke Weaver from the Yankees going to Boston.
That's nice. Red
Sox have gone dumpster diving before. They got Weissert from the Yankees. They got Chapman from the Yankees. Why not? Keep bringing in Yankee rejects. It's fun. I
saw him linked to the Phillies. I saw him link the Phillies, and I had Brad. So I had if that Weaver deal happens, I had Brad Keller going to the Yankees on a 2-year deal.
All right.
Which makes like this ton of sense. Awesome. All right, guys, this was fucking fun, man. Look at this. We already solved the entire offseason for all these teams, and the Toronto Blue Jays have a payroll of $500 million. So eat that, Dodgers. All right, Scott, where can everybody find you?
Yeah, find me on Twitter, Reichel Radio. Find me on SGPN, doing shows of that a couple times a week on the Propcast. Besides that, doing the NBA Gambling Podcast, off season now, but MLB Gambling Podcast, and tennis off season as well. So a bunch of podcasts, all free. All my picks are free at Reichel Radio.
Pete, Sheffield Shuffler, give it to me.
Well, I don't have as good as the outro as that one, but yeah, just anything Sheffield Shuffler, find my stuff.
Pete's so modest and he's so fun and nice and has twins and he's just and actually he's a good follow. I'll gas him up. He's a good follow because all the brands love him. He's a good fun dude. And so he hangs out with like Fit Dad CEO, who's like my favorite dad influencer on
Dave.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not on a first name basis with Dave. I just follow
you
him
mean
and love his
Dave?
content. Yeah, you mean Dave. And Fanatics sends Pete like the coolest shit. Like, and it's just Michael Rubin is
I don't know
in.
why,
I
but
don't
I
know
will
why
take
either.
it. Velour sweatsuits, I'll take it.
Oh, it's great. Yeah, they love you. All right. This was fun, guys. This is the first time we did this, and it went exactly as planned. CJ and I did not have a fight, probably because we got it all out beforehand. And I'm looking at this list, and Toronto's payroll is just insane. They better win it this year. All right. So we'll be back on Wednesday, or Thursday, probably Wednesday. We'll do a football episode. You can find me at Hey Rosenberg. You can find CJ at Dad's That Bet. You can find our producer Spencer, who is awesome, at Spencer_Ray, Ray Ray. Hall of Fame bets, use code DADS. There's a QR code if you're watching this. We love them. They have been awesome to our show. They are an awesome tool that we are constantly using. And I also said that I would give a shout out for one of the bookies that I use. But if you need a bookie, I have like 3 that are looking for more clients, and I trust them. And so they told me, I said I'd say something on the pod. I don't know if this is the audience for it, but
Bookie's making a comeback, dude.
Bookie's making a comeback. All right. So for all of this, for Scott, for Pete, for Spencer, CJ, what's the final word?
Pete Alonso is not going to the fucking Orioles.